By the time you are a few weeks into the Aliyah process, something will happen that nobody warns you about. You will be sitting at your kitchen table, surrounded by documents, reading an email from your Aliyah advisor, and you will realize that you have no idea what any of the words in the email mean. Not the Hebrew words, the English words, words like Sal Klita and Teudat Oleh and Bituach Leumi and Arnona and Kupat Cholim and Misrad this and Misrad that. You will feel briefly as though you have accidentally enrolled in a degree program nobody told you about. This is normal. This is the alphabet soup of Aliyah. And today I am going to give you the cheat sheet. The word Misrad means ministry or office in Hebrew. Once you know this, the landscape becomes considerably less frightening, because a great many of the words you will encounter are simply Misrad, plus a description of what the office does. The most important one for our purposes right now is Misrad HaKlita. Misrad means office. Klita means absorption, the ministry of Aliyah and absorption. This is the Israeli government ministry whose specific mandate is to help new immigrants, Olim, settle into Israeli life successfully. Every new Oleh will interact with this ministry. It is where you register after arriving, where you access many of your government benefits, where you get your Teudat Oleh, your immigrant identity booklet, the document that unlocks most of your rights and benefits as a new citizen, and where an absorption advisor will ideally sit with you and explain what you are entitled to and how to access it. Misrad HaKlita has branches throughout Israel, and in the early weeks of your Aliyah, you will visit one of them carrying a folder of documents and a look of earnest confusion that every absorption advisor recognizes immediately. They have seen it thousands of times. They are generally kind about it. Now the Teudat Oleh. This is issued to you at Ben Gurion Airport. When you arrive on your Aliyah flight, we will go through the airport process in detail in episode 5.2. And it is effectively your immigrant passport. It contains your official Aliyah date, your status as an Oleh Chadesh, a new immigrant, and serves as the primary document you will present when accessing the various financial and practical benefits the Israeli government provides. Keep it safe. Keep it extremely safe. Keep a photocopy of it in a separate location. Keep a scan of it on your phone. Treat it the way you would treat the deed to a house, because in many ways it is more valuable. The Sal Klita. This translates as the absorption basket, which sounds like something you might receive from a particularly bureaucratic welcome committee, and that is essentially what it is. It is a package of financial benefits given by the Israeli government to new Olim. A series of monthly payments made directly into your Israeli bank account over the first 6 months after Aliyah, designed to help you cover basic living costs while you find your feet. The amounts vary depending on your age, family status, and whether you have any income. They are not enough to live on by themselves, but they are a genuine and meaningful contribution. There is a critical, practical detail here. If you leave Israel during the first 6 months of your Aliyah, your Sal Klita payments stop. They restart when you return, as long as you are back within the first year. But do be aware of this. The benefits are designed for people who are actually here, absorbing. Bituach Leumi. This is the National Insurance Institute of Israel, the equivalent of Social Security in the United States or national insurance in the United Kingdom. It is the institution that collects your national insurance contributions and provides benefits including maternity pay, disability allowance, unemployment benefits, child allowances, and eventually old age pension. As a new Oleh, you are covered by Bituach Leumi essentially from day one for certain benefits, and you begin paying into it through your employment or, if you are self-employed, directly. We cover Bituach Leumi in a dedicated episode in Part 10, but the important thing to know now is that you will need to register with them, and certain time-sensitive steps in your first few weeks in Israel relate to this registration. Kupat Cholim. This means health fund. Israel has a national health insurance system, and every resident, including Olim, from the moment of Aliyah, is covered by it. You choose one of 4 health funds: Clalit, Maccabi, Muhadet, or Leumit. Each operates a network of doctors, clinics, specialists, and hospitals. Joining is mandatory. The basic tier is funded through your Bituach Leumi contributions, and most olim also take out supplementary insurance, called Mushlam or Zahav, depending on the fund, for a relatively modest monthly premium that covers things like specialist appointments without lengthy waiting times, dental contributions, and some medications. We cover the health system in detail in episode 9.1. Arnona. This is the municipal property tax charged by every Israeli city and local authority. Whether you are renting or buying, Arnona is charged to the occupant, the person living in the property, and is based on the size of the property and your municipality. As a new Oleh, you're entitled to a significant discount on Arnona, typically between 50 and 90%, for a period of 12 months within your first 2 years in Israel. This discount does not apply automatically. You need to apply for it at your local municipality, and it cannot be applied retroactively, so do not forget about it and then remember 18 months later. It is real money and it is yours. Ulpan. This is the government-subsidized Hebrew language school that every new Oleh is entitled to attend for free. Up to 5 months of full-time study, 5 days a week, 5 hours a day. It is one of the most valuable benefits of Aliyah, and also, if I am being completely honest, one of the most humbling experiences of my adult life. I walked into Ulpan as a rabbi who had studied Jewish texts in Hebrew and Aramaic for decades, and discovered that none of this prepared me in any way for buying vegetables or understanding my electricity bill. Literary Hebrew and spoken Israeli Hebrew are, in practice, 2 different languages that happen to share an alphabet. Ulpan was a revelation. We cover it properly in episode 6.4. Teudat Zehut, your Israeli identity card, the equivalent of a national ID card, contains your Israeli identification number, your Mispar Zehut, which you will use for everything for the rest of your life in Israel: bank accounts, health fund registration, school enrollment, driving license, car purchase, tax filing, utility accounts, supermarket loyalty cards, gym memberships, voting, everything. Your Mispar Zehut is, in Israel, as fundamental to your existence as your name. You will know it by heart within about 3 weeks. Episode 6.1 is dedicated to this document. There are many more terms, and you will encounter them progressively throughout this series, introduced in context when they are relevant. The important thing right now is simply to know that the alphabet soup has a logic to it, that each term refers to something real and specific, and often quite important, and that, by the time you have finished this series, you will know what all of it means and what to do about it. You will also almost certainly have opinions about it, strong ones, possibly at volume. That is very Israeli of you. Welcome.